Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley.
Let's talk some TV now, and we already talked. Well, we talked about Logan in the last episode, and let's carry on the theme of X-Men and talk about Legion. I just watched the 5th episode. I don't know. Have you seen that one?
I don't think so yet.
So this is about this guy called David, who's got some kind of weird mind-bending powers. Who is he related to? Because in the film, they sort of say.
Idea. I thought initially he might have been. We had a theory that he might have been. Do you remember the guy from? Was it actually X-Men 2? His son, who put Xavier into that trap, that sort of illusion world.
Right.
But then we realised his name was Jason, not David. But then we're wondering whether that was a change for the film and whether he's actually meant to be called David. We don't know. So I haven't bothered to Google it because clearly I'm committed to this fact.
Yeah.
Theory.
Apparently he is like a villain, and I think that's kind of what they're trying to do in this show, is that it's like an origin story for a villain.
Okay.
But I heard that, and I don't know. I wish I kind of hadn't, in a way. But so sorry about that.
You hadn't told me.
Yeah. I don't know. But he is a villain. Like if you Google it, he's part of the Hellfire Club. But I think
be the founding of it. Then is this what you? Oh God, actually, yeah, you've got the holy shitballs.
Yeah. So it's the thing is, basically, it's deep X-Men stuff like that I'd never heard of. But yeah, this is being put together by Noah Hawley, who did both seasons of the Fargo TV show, and it does share a lot in common with that. Jean Smart is casting it. She was in the 2nd season of Fargo, and it's all really well cast. I love the what's her name? The one from Parks and Rec. She's very cool in it. What's her name? Aubrey Plaza. She's like the mad nutball girl who's in his mind still.
Yeah.
But I have to say,
was episode 5 the one where they revealed the twist on that, or was that 4? I can't actually remember. They're kind of blurring into each other a little bit with me.
Yeah. Well, this is the trouble. It's the pilot I thought was really cool. Like, it did all the kind of weird mind-bending stuff, kind of gave you an idea of how powerful he was. I love the setup where he's being interrogated, and then it kind of ended with some sort of like boom, sort of like looked like a one-shot kind of action sequence, but probably wasn't. But it was stitched together very well, and that kind of gave a hint that there might be like enough of a conventional superhero thing going on for it to get its hooks in me. But it's been so kind of ponderous and avant-garde and arty.
I haven't seen 5. I've just realised. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we're both like halfway, but it's just got so up its own arse. I'm losing patience with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not really enjoying it. I appreciate it, but I'm just I'm struggling with it, to be honest. I'll probably watch it to the end. But
it was the guy who was in that little weird ice cube thing on the plane of Never Neverland that kind of freaked me out, and he was dancing.
Oh, that's Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. I enjoyed him in it. That was fun.
It was very weird, but it was like, is he gonna stay in here for like 10 episodes? Oh God, what's gonna happen there? Because it moves so quickly at the start, and now it's like the brakes have come on. I know they're trying to sort out what's gone on in his head, what's in his head, and we know that he's basically been, blocking them subconsciously because he's very powerful and doesn't realise it. Whether he's done it to himself and not known, we don't know, or someone else, we don't know. But it's just like, come on, we want to see more stuff. Where's that? It's like the last mission they went on, for episode 4. Why didn't they send that bloke who can flick people into the next galaxy?
Yeah, he shows up in the new one. I won't say what goes on, but
it's just...
you get to see like, oh, David's been here. because like shit's gone down, but you don't see any of it happening. But then I guess that's kind of skillful use of their budget, I suppose. But I don't really know. I just don't really get it or understand what the point of any of it is, really. But I appreciate how well it's made, but you can't just have that. It feels like I'm watching like a David Lynch film or something, where just like what the fuck is going on? It's really highbrow. Sort of. Oh, I must pay attention, but it's too boring for me to be bothered with. So I don't know.
It does. I think that's the problem, though. By saying that, by playing off the X-Men thing, as far as I can tell, it just means that they can mention powers and the word mutant.
Yeah. Well, like they've got. I tell you, at times, like the only. Sometimes I forget I'm watching something that's got anything to do with X-Men, and then I'm reminded because the window's got a cross on it like that.
Yeah, in the background, in that room, and you're like, okay, that's okay. Okay, thanks for the big reminder.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wish we saw more people. All those people walking around outside, they're not doing anything. When you see them walking around the establishment, they've all must have been helped or saved or whatever, but there's no, just allude to little bits and pieces. I mean, like, my God, come on, have someone just like electrify a plant or something. Just, freeze a pond, just stop the fish going round and just pick one out or something. Something just inconsequential as they're walking around talking, just to keep us in that world as opposed to in his head.
Yeah,
but I'll still watch it because I'm kind of enjoying it, but it's a little weird, and the end credit sequence is so freaky. It's like you watch the most twist up, weird, messed up thing, and then like ba 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 da ba 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 da the end credits. And you're like, okay,
they change it up
weird.
Every episode. Like I don't think there was any music on the one this week.
Oh God.
So, but it's only 8 episodes, so give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll probably carry on watching it. I think I wonder almost if it's like maybe I watch it at the wrong time in the week because it's normally my Saturday morning thing. Just because it's like I'm interested in watching it, and it's kind of like on my Now TV, like on my PS4. It's just so easy to just stick that on. Yeah. But maybe I should watch it when I'm a bit more awake or something.
We kind of catch it in the evening. We try and catch it on a Thursday. We usually remember and something's on. I think we forgot this week.
I rarely have time when I'm at home in the week.
But, it's
all right.
Go on.
No, I was just going to move us on, but if you've got anything else to say about it...
Well, it's just kind of weird because I'm finding that, and you're going to hate me for this, I'm finding that I'm enjoying Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a lot more than this.
Because stuff happens.
Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has kind of got its shit together. You've got the girl who was the hacker. She's now a fully fledged superhero and can tune into the vibrations of the earth and can actually pseudo fly.
I heard she was like a bit of a mutant, but they can't say that.
As Quake. And it's like you've got all of this stuff going on as well, and it's just so much more interesting. It's just weird. It's just so weird. That's something that I thought I would have written off at the start. Maybe I've just become. Maybe I've got like a Stockholm syndrome thing for the show. And I've now adjusted to it so much, I can forgive its ills. I don't know. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, that show is just becoming like Supernatural to me. I'm like that disinterested. Sorry.
Know, mate. It is quite fun though, but I would say it's more fun than the Arrow DC stuff. Because it's
right,
the
which
amount
also
of
is
one-lines
just,
in it.
No.
The one-liners in it, it's just brilliantly written. Just nerdy, geeky stuff, when you got Tatooine dropped in comments and stuff like that. But anyway,
never say never, because I am getting through about a season of TV a week on my commute. So if I do finally run out, then maybe is one of them on Amazon?
I don't know.
Sure. I'll have a look.
But anyway,
have you watched any of the new Walking Dead?
What did we watch? Yes, we have. Or we. It sounds like I'm having a split moment there. No, yeah, I've definitely seen that. I'm not sure about the new group, the Junkyard group. They do seem a bit odd.
But they can't talk properly for a start.
She seems like an art teacher who really loves her bohemian existence and has somehow become leader of a group with a spiky walker called Gerald, whatever his name was. I don't know.
Yeah, she's a model, that girl. She's got a bit of a Mila Jovovich thing going. I googled her. She was also in Happen Leonard, which was quite a cool little thing with that John recommended. It's on Amazon. So I have seen her in other things, but yeah, I'm not googling her because looking at the cast list of The Walking Dead is like looking at a telephone directory.
Not bother.
But yeah, I'm quite liking the show. Did you see the recent one with Rick and Michonne in the fun fair?
That was weird.
I like that.
I like the fact that they're now playing with the trope that we always say, whenever there's a happy episode, somebody dies. And they kind of know this, and it's become self-aware, and it's now playing with our emotions.
Yeah, it really got me, actually. I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no fucking way.
Yeah, I thought, they're not. And then they keep it long enough for you to start thinking, oh shit, have they actually done this?
If they killed Rick off, it would be a whole season of killing Rick off.
You'd have flashbacks for half of it.
And then they still wouldn't kill him.
No, it would be, and then right at the end, there'll be a cliffhanger.
Although eventually, if this show goes on forever, they are going to have to kill him off, because if they aren't ever going to end it, his salary's just going to basically, he's going to get into like Mad Men guy territory, and they're just going to have to end it because he will be getting paid more money than God.
He'll get paid more money than the budget for the first shows, first season.
Yeah, he'll be on like Robert Downey Jr. money. Like this is how it goes.
And then there'll be the crossover: Iron Man versus Rick Grimes. They'll both
yeah, exactly.
Oh God. Last episode, it was quite nice to see them all jokey and stuff, and you could totally relate to the character when he was saying, let's just stay out a couple more days. I kind of thought, what's he doing? What if Negan goes back to the camp while you're out just having fun? How can you do this? But then you kind of think, he's Rick. He's been in the middle of all of this from the start. God damn, the man must really need a break.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of enjoying it. I mean, it started off really rough this season, but since it's come back after Christmas, I've been actually quite enjoying it. I think there's enough going on. They got rid of a lot of shit characters.
Yeah.
They've got, I like how they sort of, I think they've got a strong enough set of characters that when they can like build an episode just by like pairing up a certain couple of people, and that's all right. I think there are still some weaker characters, but they're Shane, Michonne, Rick, Daryl, Carol's cool. I like Ezekiel. I like Negan. He's cool. Some of his henchmen are cool as well. Yeah. So, it's all right. I think they've definitely got it.
What was it? What was it? Is it Slane? Whatever his name was, I can't remember.
Slane.
His lead henchman with the long hair. The whole backstory of him and his wife, and his wife's
with the burnt face.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. His wife's left the camp and she's vanished. And
he goes looking for her, doesn't he? But he can't,
and then there's that
can't
whole
find her.
Story and stuff, and you're kind of not sure about his allegiances or anything. You're not sure whether he's doing this all to protect her or whether he's gone full Negan. But it's the fact that he turned up, and there was that note saying that if we ever got separated, we'd turn up there with beer and cookies or something like that. And then just before he goes, he pulls out the pack of beer and leaves it on the table of the house that they lived in. And you're kind of thinking, oh my God, is it gonna be a man on the inside? Is it?
Right. See, I didn't pick up on that. I have to, as I've said before, I do sometimes miss the subtleties of this show because my housemate likes to talk about how he would survive the zombie apocalypse
during the show.
During the show, yeah, most of the
time. But that was a really, really kind of important character bit, which I kind of went, shit.
I'm glad you mentioned that now.
It was the whole point, because I'm thinking, is this the breaking part of the whole We Are Negan? Because you can see it in his face, there's some defiance, and Negan loves it. He plays off it and says, I know that he basically says to him, I know you want to kill me, but you're not going to do it because you're a pussy.
Yeah.
But that whole scene to me, and the fact that he came back and then he managed to get the doctor guy to be, that whole sequence where he burns him with the iron and then all that, and then he kills him by throwing him into the furnace. That whole thing to me is the start of a sort of like an uprising from him.
Yeah.
And I think it was the introduction of Daryl to that camp that probably showed him that he's basically just bent over and taken it, whereas he should be fighting. So now I'm kind of expecting him to start a small insurgency or something, or get out. And the whole thing with Eugene as well, that whole episode.
That was cool.
Fucking cool.
So it's like Negan wants him to sort of make armoured zombies.
Yeah. Negan wants,
an army of robotic.
Well, not necessarily robotic.
Doom zombies.
I think just like a perimeter, almost like a steel fence of armoured zombies on the outside.
Right. Yeah, he's using them as like an electric fence sort of thing, isn't he?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Bitey fence.
But... And then there's those girls, the brides of Negan. It always sounds like the brides of Dracula.
Yeah. Yeah, that still manages to gross me out, that show. Like, like there's always like a kind of moment, like. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool actually. I was a bit down on it in the last season, but and their insistence on kind of cliched cliffhangers and stuff. But it's pretty cool. I'll still carry on watching it. I'm in now, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I got into Supernatural at this point, I'd still be watching that probably as well. But fuck that. I've been watching some other things. I finished a show called Spotless in the week, which is on Netflix and actually downloadable now. Wasn't at first. But yeah, it's about two French guys, one of which owns a business cleaning up crime scenes. So yeah, a little bit of Breaking Bad going on here. And his brother comes back from France, and he's with a corpse basically that's full of drugs, and she died because he fucked her, and there was some sort of complication, and she died overdosed. So they get all the drugs out of her, try and sell them to some gangsters. They end up embroiled in like a kind of proper like mafia family that's in England, and it's all right. Some of the gangsters are a bit cartoony, but he's got a wife who sort of does a bit of a Skylar thing. It's later on when she finds out what's going on, and he's got a bit on the side as well. So it's hard to kind of completely sympathise with either of them because they are arseholes, but they're clearly trying to go for that sort of anti-hero sort of thing. But the thing that kept distracting me was that they shot a lot of it where I used to work, at the Bluefin building in London. It was just like, and it comes back, and they'll use bits of different parts of that building for different scenes with different people. So I'm like, they're on the Bluefin again. They're on the Bluefin again. They're downstairs at reception. Now they're upstairs. So and they dressed a lot of. I think there's one bit that's supposed to be like a hotel room, and that's also like on the corner of my building. So it was kind of a bit frustrating, but that's my problem alone. And just when that happens, I wouldn't say don't watch it just because it's shot where I used to work. But yeah, it's all right. So 10 episodes and it's on Netflix. So yeah, worth checking out.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to say that always is a bit weird when that happens in films and stuff, because it can kind of take you out of it for a moment because your brain goes, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, what am I like watching a documentary now? No, okay, that's not what that is.
Yeah, for me the biggest one was Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit, that movie that came out a while back with Chris Pine. It's a bit where he's supposed to be in Russia and he goes to this Russian hotel when in fact it's Liverpool Street. And it's this building. They used that in one of the lunch at for years and years. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, they used that in Mission Impossible, the first one. They used the McDonald's in Liverpool Street. I remember they just dressed it up to look like something else. Yeah, it's weird, but they have to shoot somewhere.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you had watched all of Narcos. How did you find that?
Loved it.
It's cool, isn't it? Epic.
It's quite hard not to say a certain Spanish swear word now and mixed in with English because you hear it so many times.
Which one?
P. It's like an interchangeable one. Everyone's a puta.
Oh, right, yeah.
Every other word. Oh, I swear at some points, because obviously it's all, the Spanish parts are all subbed, we were kind of watching it, and then it was like we stopped reading the subs, and it just felt like natural hearing this language in the background. And it was just like, because we just watched so many episodes of it was just like, oh, what's happening now? Oh, cool. Oh my god, no. Oh, we're taking that poison. Oh, so this episode's this. It hasn't happened yet. Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, it's kind of did it work for you on the level of like you were actually a bit gutted when Pablo
I kind of
gun?
was a bit, but but then you immediately start thinking he really was a scumbag though. He was such, but then you're kind of like, but he was the scumbag you were watching. You kind of enjoyed it. You were kind of like rooting for him and all of his crazy audacity, when he started off with a truck full of stuff and they go to stop him, and then he starts saying about, oh, how's your wife? She's expecting. How are your kids? And they're like, shit, this guy knows everything about us. Whereas he just looks like a little henchman with a little porch belly in his funky shirts, But,
yeah, I love how he's always like sort of pulling his trousers up.
Yeah,
like it's like such a good sort of portrayal. Like it's like almost on the level of like what Anthony Hopkins would do to play like Nixon or something. Like he's just absolutely that character.
Yeah.
They just do a great job of humanising him.
I just thought it was fantastic.
But and the way it starts, it's all like Goodfellas, and like they're just going on about how much fucking money's being made, and it carries on like that, and so even will you tune it because they're doing a third season? Will you watch it?
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
yeah, because it's not going to have Pablo in it, obviously, but it's all going to be about It's going to be all about the Cali cartel, who are apparently much worse and are still in operation today. So,
okay, yeah,
that should be fun.
Definitely in for that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it starts. I think that used to come out sort of around September time. I think that's probably when it will be out. But yeah, awesome.
It was just so bad. It was like, oh my god, and then just some of the stuff. It's just crazy. Like, okay, he just bought some flamingos and some zebra. And just had them roaming around his land.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? And he was shouting at these parrots saying he spent, was it 1.4 million getting these birds? And then he goes, they won't stay in the fucking tree! Like, what?
It's when he starts burning the money to keep the house warm.
Yeah.
That's what gets me.
He hits a panel in it and it's just like a wall of money.
Yeah, and when they're trying to find where he's buried it all, like, and it's all fucking ruined, basically. They just didn't know what to do with it.
Should have put it in cases, isn't it? Like drums.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, that would be smart. But he was very smart. Not smart enough, unfortunately, at the end of the day.
His arrogance was the thing that got him, because he kept saying he won't hide, whenever someone... That's the
well,
thing,
he would basically use the population as a human shield. So... Yeah, he was a nasty piece of work, basically, that deserved everything he came to.
But he was fun to watch,
Yeah, well, like the sort of rise of him and then the fall, they did that so well. Like, it's so, like, every episode he was in, like, more shit.
Yeah.
And more angry, and like the way they say, like, the more cornered he became, the more dangerous he became,
I've got to say one thing, though. Guy built his own fucking prison.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
It was like Disneyland. It had like prostitutes coming in, drugs, money, games.
Yeah. All his thugs.
He was better off in there than outside in the real world.
Yeah, well, if they'd have let him carry on, then he'd probably still be around today. But yeah, he was just making a mockery of their government and stuff. It was awful, like just a great story.
It was really incredible. Is.
Yeah. Probably got time to mention a couple of other things I've watched. I've watched the first 3 episodes of SSGB, which is the new BBC mini-series. I think it's based on a book, but it's been adapted to the screen by Neil Purvis and Robert Wade. Can't believe I remember that.
See,
but they're a couple of the guys who worked on the screenplays for like the last few Bond movies.
okay.
And it's basically the setup is that we lost World War II.
Yeah.
And so the Germans are all over London, and Sam Riley's character is like a policeman, but his boss is now like a Nazi, and there's a resistance going on. So it's like Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, UK version, like.
Yeah, UK edition. So
I saw that from the trailer and I thought, I still haven't seen the second series of that Man in the High Castle.
Neither have I. But I might watch it after this as like a follow-up. Meanwhile, but at this point though, the Americans have not fallen yet. So, but what I like about it is that they sort of mention stuff that really did happen, like the king is ill, which he was. If you watched The Crown, you would know that, or if you were old and paid attention to the news and history, you would just know that. So that's kind of, and that's actually a plot point. And yeah, it's quite slow going, but it's very classically shot. There's some cool, like, sort of, like those, like French Connection, where it's like a chase, but they're just walking, and that kind of, and then they end up in like the subway tunnels, and there's a bit of a scuffle, and someone gets stabbed.
It's more like avoiding the enemy until you're somewhere you can have a good little scuffle with him.
Yeah, it's all that kind of like cloak and dagger stuff. So it's quite cool. And he gets paired up with like a proper Nazi officer who's kind of and he's trying to like tread the line, like it's very much like Man in the High Castle but UK edition, and there's less of it, so it's on BBC, it's on iPlayer still.
I might check it out, actually.
Yeah, it's worth a look. And the other UK thing I started was the third and I believe final season of Broadchurch, which is on ITV, and it's like the only thing I watch on ITV, because ITV is just an absolute cunt, to be honest. Their app, you can't download episodes unless you pay like $3.99, and at this point I'm already paying out for enough things, so you can't download it at all. The Channel 4 app, you can download whatever you like, but you download the adverts as well. I don't mind that, because just let me download it, for fuck's sake.
ITV is an ad paid service, so I don't know why they're spooning money out of you for more. Why don't they just do that?
They've just decided to go that way. I think they're onto a loss there, because I think at this point there's too many on-demand services, and even though they're only charging half price, I would rather download the ads, to be quite honest, because it's just a convenience. You're not gating. The thing that gates ITV is the ads. I won't fucking watch them. Like if I'm sat down at home, but if they, damn it, like they're missing out on ad revenue basically that they'd probably be better off doing. So but Broadchurch itself, it's to do with a rape, and that's all I know, because it's one case probably, and they're stretching it over 8 weeks or 10 weeks. Got to be
something harrowing, isn't it? I mean,
but they managed to crowbar in a lot of the original cast from the original murder or whatever it was, and no doubt some famous faces will show up. Famous in terms of British TV, anyway. But it's worth watching that show just for Olivia Colman. I'll watch her in anything. She's fantastic. And David Tennant's all right as well. So it's all right. But that's all I've been watching. You've been watching anything other than what you've already mentioned?
God, it's just more of the same, really. It's just every time I kind of stop, a few of the episodes come back. So I'm still watching Sleepy Hollow, still watching Supernatural, still watching. I've stopped watching a lot of the DC stuff. Sue's loves Supergirl, so we're still watching that. I think it's all right.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
It's
Kevin Smith's been directing more of that as well.
It's a bit cheesy, but it does fit in pretty much with the whole. I don't want to say Arrowverse, because Arrow's all right, but it's But I've got to catch up on those, because apparently there was a big crossover thing and I might be missing out. So I've got to go back and watch a whole season of Arrow and Flash and start watching DC Legends of Tomorrow. God, my brain's going to implode.
Yeah, I've heard really bad things.
I've started watching the Constantine TV series as well.
Did that got cancelled? It got cancelled.
First season got cancelled. John hates it because John's a big fan of the character.
Right.
Our John. Yeah.
Yeah.
He hates it.
Yeah, may he rest in peace.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying it. I've only seen the first few episodes of it, and there's only like one series of it, but it doesn't seem too bad. And the character did pop up in an episode of Arrow, which is weird, played by the same guy.
Oh, okay.
So there's
Cool.
talk of a possible revival by, I think, CW Network. I can't remember which one owns it. Whichever one owns Arrow and stuff.
CW.
So there's talk of possibly reviving the Constantine series because of the
cool.
popularity after that episode. But who knows? I mean, there's been talk about resurrecting Firefly for 20 odd years or whatever, how long it's gone. That's not going to happen. There's talk of a reboot.
Well, never say never. Stranger things have happened.
There is talk of a reboot, though, of it, which will be... I don't know if I'm happy about that, but we'll see.
Well, that'll be like... you'll probably see... Like, Malcolm Reynolds will probably show up in, like, the pilot. Or be some sort of, like, higher up.
Probably all will. It'll probably be... I'd love it if they did a Shaun of the Dead moment, and they passed, like, the other people that are similar to them.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
You're running from a heist and they go past and they're like in a van going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Why do you look like me? As they go by.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, just watching a few bits and pieces and stuff. Oh God, what was it? Yeah, have you seen all of Fortitude Series 2 yet? Because I haven't started that yet.
I have, yeah. What
have you? Worth a watch? I think we mentioned it last, sort of like maybe a couple of episodes ago or something. But
yeah, did you watch the first season?
I did. Yeah, I thought it was really good, but I felt slightly let down by the ending.
Well, this one, the second season, like the first season was a little bit procedural, like and kind of spent a long time kind of with that whole mystery of why all that crazy shit was happening. This one kind of is more like a sequel where they've kind of done all that. So when the S starts hitting the F, like you're kind of just ready for it. So it is absolutely batshit.
Brilliant. That's right then.
And I was like, when it ended, I was like, oh, it's ended. Fuck. I was watching that because I binged it so much. I was like, oh, what?
That's it.
Oh. I was really enjoying that, and then it ended. It's like I would have happily watched like another sort of 5 more episodes.
Oh, brilliant! Definitely add that then.
Yeah, check it out. That's awesome. That's all on the Now TV box or.
I think I've got it on my Sky as well. I can download it as a box set.
Yeah, it's like a box set thing.
Well, I've still got that. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
cool. Awesome.
Yeah, cool. Just a couple of bits of TV related news. Just wanted to mention Game of Thrones. They've announced when that's back, 16th of July.
Hooray.
Yay! But only 7 episodes apparently. Yeah,
wow.
And then 6 is season 8 will be 6, and that's it.
Wow.
So,
what will we do after that?
I know. I've already said to John that Monday night barbecues every week until it ends. That's not a show I'm going to be able to pile up. It's like it's going to be a weekly fixture, isn't it? So yeah, so that's cool. And they've announced that Taboo with Tom Hardy is getting a second series.
Nice.
Don't know when, but Tom Hardy's a big deal, so it might be one of these that takes a couple of years to come out, like Fortitude.
Yeah, after his projects have been sorted out for various bits and pieces, isn't it? Because I imagine he's in demand for...
Yeah, and I don't think it was a dead cert either, so I think for it to come out at the same time next year, they'd have had to have been writing it already. But it's his dad, I think, that who kind of came up with the idea for it.
Oh, wow.
Tom Hardy's dad, yeah, it's like a story that he's had, and now Tom Hardy's got the power to make it a reality. Nice. So that's cool. Awesome. But yeah, that's all cool. And finally, just wanted to mention that Jason Isaacs has been cast in the new Star Trek show as the captain of the ship. So I thought that's interesting because they said like a while back that the focus won't be on the captain. It'll be more on like just a crew member, an ensign. I don't know who will be played by one of the girls from Walking Dead. And so, but it makes me think, because it's Jason Isaacs, because he's British and has has traditionally played villains, I'm wondering if this captain might be a bit nefarious.
Is he a Lannister?
Yeah, well, is he got ulterior motives? And you never know. Like that might be. I mean, that's me thinking like typecasting a bit. So
to be honest, he is one of the typecast people. It would be like if Christopher Lee was playing the character of the captain.
That's it. Like they must be going for a certain sort of thing. So. Yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, yeah, we'll find out later in the year because this show's been delayed like a couple of times. It was supposed to be out in May, but I don't think that's happening now. So, have to be patient. This has been the Not Watching Podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself, Marcus and Ian talk about video games and virtual reality on the Not Playing Podcast, and Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of funny things on the Not Listening Podcast. You can email us at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya!